Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. And last time you saw this one, we realized the compression was a little low. So in this video, we're going to troubleshoot the compression and so forth. Then there's going to be a couple of spin-off videos. One of the spin-off videos is going to be how to hotwire this thing. And the second spin-off video is how to make an adapter so you can put a PZ 30 carburetor on it. You can, instead of having a $100 carburetor on there, you can put yourself a $15 carburetor on there, and for just puttering about and, you know, getting it started for the first time and all that kind of stuff, that's just fine. So do enjoy the two separate videos and enjoy this one. Let me give you a spoiler. By the end, it will probably be running. So I pulled these caps off, not hard to do, 10 millimeters, just back them out, slides right off. And when I check compression, I like my valves to be rappy-tappy loose. Like, listen. You know that valve is closed, and listen to the intake. The intake might have been slightly tight, so I did loosen it up a little bit. Once again, you want to be sure, because if they're too tight, you lose compression and you're thinking, oh, my engine's not so good, or you have trouble starting it, and on and on and on. Better to be a little loose and running than too tight and broken down. Okay, other than loosening up the valves, I also pulled the carburetor off, which seemed to make quite a bit of difference, and I put oil into the cylinder. So let's see how we do now. So that's about the best I'm going to do. This is known as a wet compression test, 120. If I smash a carburetor onto this thing, it should be able to start. I guess what I should do is I should figure out if it's sparking or not. So I am going to have to get into the ignition switch a little bit. Let's keep going. So I did the ignition bypass in a separate video. I wanted to do that so that somebody who's just interested in hot wiring one of these things could watch that video and be all kinds of happy. Now I have the jump pack rigged to the starter, so all I have to do is turn the jump pack switch on, and hopefully I can show you a spark. So you guys could see a nice spark there. Now it's just a matter of putting this thing together with the carburetor, and hopefully we could get it started and see what kind of trouble we're in. The next piece of bringing this thing back to life is the carburetor. And somebody's already got to this thing. It's missing the choke. It's a thing that goes in here, and when you engage this, it pulls a plunger out, and you could see it increases flow through. Right, you could kind of see the paths there. Fortunately, they have nothing here, so it is completely missing. And generally speaking, I'm not madly in love with this carburetor. There are basically two things one could do. Now that you kind of push that carburetor off to the side, you could get the China clone of this carburetor. The problem is it stands a little taller. There's a dome that sits right here. I don't particularly care for that carburetor. I have a few in stock, new in the box, but I'm not madly in love with that carburetor. Those of you who watch this channel know that I love the PZ 29 or 30, your basic, you know, copy of the Kevin carburetor. There you go. They sell these for about 20 bucks each, sometimes as low as 15. They're bulletproof. The clone is pretty good. The only bad thing about the clone is if you leave gas in it after about a month or two, it begins to green up and powder up on the inside, so you gotta kind of open it back up and clean it. So it's not great either, but from an out-of-the-box works carburetor, I love them, and I typically keep several floating about. But the issue obviously you run into is this, right? There's no way of bolting that up, right? It's expecting a flange that looks like that. Okay, I put a carburetor on it. I got to put some gas into it. You guys can see the throttle right there. I got the battery. So theoretically, once I put gas in it, all I have to do is turn it over and it should start. Fresh new plug. I'm going to put the camera in the stand and then put gas in it and we'll see what happens. This is the good stuff. Runs pretty good. I thought it would smoke. I poured enough oil down there. Noisy. I did fill the crankcase. I'm just going to let it run this carburetor out. Not too bad. Running on a straight pipe. There we go. It's running on a straight pipe, so it's noisy enough. But I'm happy. She runs. She looks like she's going to move. It's just a matter of perfecting it with a seat and so forth, figuring out if it's trying to charge the battery. And we actually have a running three-wheeler here. Unfortunately with this thing, even if you guys find one out in the wild like this, you bring it home, it doesn't cost that much to adapt the carburetor. I don't know, call it with parts $30 to put this carburetor on there. With the air cleaner, you're probably working your way toward $40. I had to come up with a front tire and a rim. Chances are one's going to have to come up with a back tire and a rim because that rim's probably all rusty also. I don't recall if I got the seat with this one or not. I have to go look in the truck. It's probably still sitting out there. Hopefully I got the seat. You got to put a battery into it. You got the ignition system is hacked, remember. I also didn't finish troubleshooting the wiring. I do have spark on the CDI and everything else I got with it, but I'm not exactly sure about the starting solenoid. You guys could see I have it jumped directly to the pack. So even if this thing does run and all that, $200, I did great from a parts point of view, given I got the headlight, the front rack, the front fender, one good tire out of it. The engine seems like it's sound. The starter's good. These gears are intact and they're kind of hard to put one's hands on. So I got a lot of really good stuff with it. The back rack's halfway decent. I got one of the back lights. From a parts point of view, it was a steal of a deal. From a let's put it together point of view and try to restore point of view, good luck. Especially if you want to start going OEM carburetor, tracking down a decent set of back plastics for it and all the other junk could work its way up. And considering exposure to salt. I'm not sure about the longevity of the rear end, the joints, the frame, and even when somebody has to do something, right? I mean, if you want to do something with the brakes and everything else, it's not trivial. But from a parts point of view, I think I got a great deal, and I'm very happy. I'm sure you guys will let me know what you think. At some point, maybe shortly, I'll try to find the seat. Maybe we'll try to get a ride out of it. I'll hack a gas tank onto it, and we'll try to get a quick ride. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these series of videos, plus the 2 bonus ones, the one on hot wiring and the one on hacking a carburetor onto this thing. I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please, please keep your feet down, your heads up, and make sure you get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.